In this video, I'm going to finish assembling the frame for the CNC. Previously, we're kind of just watching me go through it, and it got me thinking about what the point of the video is. The point of the video isn't really to watch me assemble and learn how to assemble. There's other videos, and the whole thing comes with instructions. So what I really wanted to show was the idea that the semi-assembled version of this kit says that it's up and running in 15 minutes, and that's, with my experience with this, just not even close to reality. So I'm going through, the same kind of process. I'm looking at the page, I'm seeing what's needed, and, narrating the experience and trying to be hilarious. But I don't think you need to see all that. So I'm just going to kind of, summarize what's going on here. And then at the end, the very end of this frame coming together, we'll go back to, real-time speed of the video, where I say how long it's taken to assemble the frame and what that leaves to finish. So I do talk, point out at this point that if you've got fat fingers or something, this is going to be really annoying to get those little pieces in there. I also point out in the rule book. You do that with like everything's a tabletop game or something. But in the instruction booklet, it's telling me that I need 3 of these clips, and it turns out you need 4. And there's like little discrepancies like that where the quality just isn't up to par, where they didn't look for those problems and solve those problems. So you're like, okay, I pulled out 3 clips. I'm installing 3 clips. And then the picture is showing 4 clips, and you're wondering what you did wrong, like just little things like that. And then with the clips on there and the switches, the switches that detect, how far the limits of the gantry or whatever, you can attach the gantry to the base. So they give you a little piece of acrylic that's got that protective paper on it, and what it does is it basically lines up the nuts that are inside that frame there, so that when you put the gantry over it, they're in the right place, because otherwise it's going to be pretty difficult. They're a little tricky to move. I just kind of used an Allen wrench and tugged them back and forth, but sometimes they didn't want to stay in there. And what you're going to see is that it starts to go smooth, and then there's just 1 or 2 that refuse to start. And basically, every time the nut goes in, it pushes it just enough that it just can't align, and it gets really frustrating. You got to pull out the other 4 or 5 and then do it over and over and over again. And I mean, it wasn't the worst thing in the world, but it's just one more example of why this isn't a 15-minute up and running job. Just finding the pieces in the little plastic box, and then counting them out and making sure it's right, and then screwing them in. Like, if you know exactly how to assemble this machine and everything is in little more accessible than that plastic box, then yeah, it's gonna go faster. But I think in the perfect case scenario, I still don't see this coming together in 15 minutes. I mean, when you see how long it took just to get the frame for the gantry and the base together without the wiring, like, there's no reality where this is a 15-minute job. So the point of my video is to show that you're gonna buy this machine thinking, yeah, I should pay a little extra to not do the kit, because it'll save me all this time, and it's not going to save you a ton of time. There's a fair amount of work that went into assembling the base and the gantry. Putting those cross beams together and putting the stepper motors in there, like that's time, but you're not cutting it down to 15 minutes. So the gantry's attached after finagling it, and now I'm looking for the collet to put into the spindle. So it's in this little box, and I struggle with this because the instruction booklet, all it says is to put the collet in the collar and screw it on. And in the picture, it kind of looks like the narrow end is pointed up, and logically you'd think, okay, the narrow end is pointed up, and at this point I'm realizing that I said that, you know, only half the rules were assembly, but the last section starts on page 20, and then it goes for 20 pages. So already it's twice as much work as I thought it was, just from bad maths. So I'm seating the spindle in there, even though I didn't get the collar around the collet correctly. Essentially, eventually what I found is that the direction I thought it went in, with the narrow side kind of going up into the spindle, is right. But if you don't, basically, it almost like the collet clicks into the collar. So if you don't click it in first, then as you screw it in there, it's creating a lot of weird pressure. I didn't break anything, which is nice. But yeah, eventually I found out that the collet clicks into the collar, and then it screws on pretty easily and does what it's supposed to be doing as far as tightening up. And then I take the baffles, which I'm still not convinced is 100% correct terminology for those. It's technically not wrong, I guess. They do kind of obstruct the view of a material, or direction of a material, flow of a material. Anyway, so you peel the protective paper off, make sure the right one's on the right side, so the logo's facing out, and all that kind of stuff. And these have pretty cool nuts on them where they automatically align vertically as you tighten them, which is kind of sweet. And then that's it. That's pretty much the whole frame done. And then the only thing left is the wiring, which I'm very interested to see how long that takes. So stay tuned for that. It's looking like a machine. It's pretty nice. That's it for baffles. Congratulations, now your machine frame is fully assembled. Frame only. And it's been an hour and a half for this 15-minute up and running. So, let's stop there and we'll come back to wiring later.